Hello there everyone, this is iMark3 and welcome to a little bit of stress testing video, just like testing the system, testing recording, testing rendering, seeing how my current system fares. This one was prompted by discussion with Lokari and Clint. It's like we were wondering, what games can my current system actually run? The answer is not much that's recent, at least among the stuff I've been playing of late. So several series are on hold, and this is just like trying to figure out general capabilities and how things are going. If it goes well, this video will make its way to YouTube. If it doesn't, it won't. I think this might be the second time Sword of the Stars had appeared on the channel. I think I did a week's play of it at one point or another when I was doing like a random series that would crop up for 5 episodes during a week and then switch to something else. But yeah, Sword of the Stars, an old one, classic one, 4X. Do not worry, I am sure that my processor and GPU can handle it. It's a GTX 760 is my graphics card in the system. Not too bad. And for current gaming standards, I have a very average processor core in the system when it was released in 2012. Yeah, I have a 2012 low to mid-tier quad-core processor. Slightly out of date, but you know, only about 13 years old at this point. Anyway, Sword of the Stars. Let us begin, shall we? This is also because of curiosity, because Lokari and Clint didn't really readily know much about this game, so yeah, here we go. This, by the way, Sword of the Stars, the complete collection, not Sword of the Stars 2. Sword of the Stars 2, I never really got into that much, but it was also never quite finished either by the producers, so it was never polished to the degree this one is. Anyway, Sword of the Stars, custom game mode. Let's see, I'm going to set for 6 players. We'll pick 1 of each species. I have no illusions this game is going to be finished inside of an hour. What will be interesting, because we have many different presets in terms of like galaxy shapes and things, from random to, you know, like a random barbell here, just do some galactic weightlifting and stuff like that. We've got a flat 2D if you want to just not have something too complex to look through. You know, let's go for a helix shape, sure. The DNA. We're testing the DNA of the machine with the DNA of star systems. Scientifically improbable to actually form this way, but hey, what are you going to do? This would all just like collapse into a glob of some kind. I think I'll also configure 6. Let's drop it to 180 systems, so there's 30 systems per race, roughly. But we're going on normal difficulty because I've not played this game in quite some time. General settings, just as is, create game. And this will be my IT test game. Okay. And let me just set things up, because as I said, I plan to have 1 of each race around here. There's plenty of things, plenty of avatars, and we can put modifiers on each particular race if we care to. Such is the power of custom games. But yes, let me just set all this up. Okay, that'll do it. 1 for each thing. I've not chosen leader portraits, but I have set logos and colours for everyone. Don't worry, I'll forget all this in a very short course. But we've got the base game 4 races: Human, Hiver, Tarkin, Lear, and the 2 expansion pack races, which were released as separate expansions. The first one brought the Zul, and the second one brought the Morigani. So, yeah. Let's go ahead and launch. I guess I'll do a quick overview. So, Sword of the Stars is a 4X game: expand, explore, exploit, exterminate.
System update.
It's turn-based in the primary galaxy wherever we appeared. We are near the southern tip. Okay, if I expand southwards, I might have an okay time getting here. One thing worth noting, though, is each race has its own propulsion systems, right? So how they get around is different for each race in general. Humans actually have the fastest system-to-system travel speed, along the node lanes. So I essentially have a highway system, but my ships are the slowest off the node lanes. So if there's anywhere which is not connected directly, like I'm hoping there's a connection between these two. If there is anywhere that's not, I really genuinely will struggle to get to them. But most of the other races actually have some pretty free form how they can move back and forth. So, that's something worth noting. And it's not just that, the tech trees are also semi-randomized as well, with each species having certain chances to get certain advanced technologies deeper in the tech tree, and this is determined on game initiation. So if I've not got something later on that I really want to have, I won't know until I've got the requisite techs if it's missing from my tech tree or not. Yes, speaking of, here's the tech tree right now. Generalized categories, as you can see. We've started without any shield technology this time out, but that is like always a random chance if you actually get that or not. That's not hopeless just yet, because later in the game, salvage is a thing. You have a chance to salvage things if you face opponents with techs you do not have. So there is a chance to get some stuff unlocked that way. There's xenotechnologies, there's industrial, biological drones. This is all more or less standard stuff for the most part. I am missing a node connection down here in drive techs, I know from immediately. There is a second upgrade to my power technology called recombinant fissionables, which basically allows my ships to have increased fuel range to let them go further on a given amount of fuel. And there is a node between fission drive and that, which is missing. I might still get it because there is another tech further on from pulse fission drive, which I think is like thrust drives or boost drives or something like that. I don't remember exactly. But there is a potential node link back from another tech into the one that's missing up here. Otherwise, I just don't have access to it because there's no other humans, remember. Anyway, let's see. I will go into Wilder units to start out. Just get my initial thing started out. I can actually zoom in on here. We can get details on it, exactly what it is. Remote construction devices that allows workers to build in hostile, dangerous environments without risk. So yeah, basically just remote control doubles the serving for you.
Initiating research project.
Now, this is determined by how much I put towards it. I can accelerate it by devoting more of my overall income to it. As you can see, the pie chart up there is shifting. Notes, by the way, as it gets faster, the effect actually gets worse. So I'm spending more for each turn I shave off it. I'm also increasing the chances of something going wrong if I research something too quickly. Some techs have failure states, like bioweapons have a chance to have an outbreak on your planets, or AI techs have a chance of going rogue, and various things like that. Also, there's a chance of things overrunning and just taking extra turn or turns to complete and just costing you resources that way. But anyway, let's do that for now, and let's start figuring out where I want to be, because I don't know what else is around here. There's 4 immediate nodes ready. I will build a more extended range ships than that, so let's do that. Let's devote all resources to ship construction. So nothing earmarked for trade. If there's enough production queued, my planet's full output goes into construction. There we go. And I've got 12. That's going to help me initial exploration, but I have also overspent because I'm paying upfront for the materials to build these ships.
Construction order placed, Commander.
So this has done several things. First off, Imperial savings are in negative. Now there's a red chunk on my pie chart here, which is actually debt. And yeah, I can dig in here for greater details and things like that. Planned income. Interest is costing me 9,000 credits this turn, actually. And then expenses broken down by category. So research is taking 81,000. Projected treasury change is going to be increase of 64,000 credits next turn projected. At least that's the thing. So this will also, as you see, because there's no longer those reserve, and there's been a deduction due to the increase in debt, this is pushed Wilder units a bit further out in terms of tech-wise. What I might do is I'll actually pause that for a turn, I can do that up here, by the way. I've got a full slide up there for immediately doing that. And that will put me into the clear, very much back into the green. So let's go ahead and end my turn. That's just like all loaded, game resumed. This does have full multiplayer. This is another game where multiplayer might be interesting
System
to do, but
update.
it's also one of those other games that I have, but no one in my among my circle of friends has. So yeah, you know, one of those odd ones. It's kind of like Endless Space 2 wound up being. Right, so if there's no receiving fleet on a star, it generates a new receiving fleet. It's got an asterisk next to it, and it goes through the Greek alphabet, and then it cycles back up to the top. So Alpha, and then eventually an Alpha 2 fleet will appear, and so on and so forth, unless I rename them. But default naming goes that way. And yeah, this will receive any newly built ships as is, but I want to separate these guys into new fleets. So I'm just going to break this up with 4 of these guys, extended range ships,
Fleet moving out.
and send them out like so. So they'll go out and actually check things. And my turn.
System
There we go.
update.
So something I want to point out is I didn't have as much savings as projected last time, and that's because active ships actually have a maintenance cost going on as well. So if I have a look-see, fleet maintenance minus 6,000 credits. So that's very low and manageable at the moment, but it will increase. But I will, however, go ahead and spend research now to increase my overall effectiveness. Give me 3 turns worth, please. Let's give it a slight buffer just in case. And keep on going. But I think I will mention it right now because you saw it in the building list. So there are designs here, right? There's actually a design manager, access through the build queue or through the design button up here. And this is where I design my stuff. It comes with pre-generated for most ship classes, like random thing, but it won't really update the designs. That falls to you. Or you can customize them based on your preferences. There's not much to see in here right now, but there are projectile guns and lasers available as options for turrets. I also have medium missile slots, or I've got small slots fit into a medium turret mount, which actually gives you 2 medium turret barrels instead of a single. Sorry, 2 small barrels instead of a medium barrel. I'll get this right. Thank you. Then it's also like fission, different missions. There's an assault shuttle one in here, which is for planetary raiding, but it doesn't give you a default one of those, and things like that. But this is kind of where our ship design comes in. In my case, what I built is extended range ships. This is not actually the best scout. It's not my preferred scout. My preferred scout is actually a tanker, because this has a smaller base range, but it has a massive fuel reserve. So it can quite happily chug off into the far ends of the galaxy and cover way more ground than an extended range ship will. Sounds good, right? Well, not really. In a fight, the tanker section is explosive because, you know, fuel tanks. Very, very, very securely carried there, as you can see. And also, it only has, like, very basic defenses. Even later on with higher tech levels, the defense of fuel ships is very poor because of the tanker section itself being in there. So, that's one advantage the extended range has. The extended range ship also, because it's built with more fuel directly into the engines, has better fuel travel limits per turn. By which I mean, a tanker might not be able to do this line here through the node because its node reach is more limited than the extended range ships are. The extended range ship, though, has no problem with a node line this long. So, you know, there are benefits and drawbacks, either way. Yes, I'm blathering on.
System update.
There we go, system updates. Getting some more node lines appearing. Anything good here planet-wise? Tempting, and they're both size 4, which is not the best. 194, 122. One of these is actually... Yeah, this is 50% more expensive in terms of maintaining the settlement until it can stabilize itself and sort out the climate. But it has more resources, so this one will wind up being the more profitable production-wise system. But I want them both, really, because they are both actually directly to Maxima Capital, and they are both within easy reach. So I should treat them as such. I will, however, also go ahead and
Drives to
send the ships further on and keep my searching going on here. There is also something, by the way, I would like to comment on
Navcom program.
the ship design screen, which I didn't really think to do. Oh my, those two are really far away. I don't think... No, as you can see, I can't actually reach them. They're even beyond my fuel range of the extended range ships. A tanker could reach those, but they would be going the slow way. So, no, not going to do that. Let's put you back in there. And keep on going. So, something I wanted to mention design-wise. Every ship actually has its own very clear design language in terms of like how the ships look, how they're structured. Even the weapon mounts and things and armor ratings of sections differs depending on your race. Humans are somewhat militaristic, so they tend to have higher than average weapon mounts and armor ratings, but other characteristics tend to suffer a bit in return. And one obvious exception is actually the engine section. They use the node ring drives, which is what gives us the node line travel. But they tend to be less well armed and armored compared to other races' drive sections as a result of that. So that is something. There is a trade-off for speed in general use. And yes, I know, I'm blathering. I am trying to just refamiliarize myself with the game, and that's dragging these thoughts
System
out a little
update.
bit. Okay, we've got more stuff here. What do we got? A size 6, but hazard is 405. Hazard, by the way, is comparing a world to my race's preferences. It's possible to terraform a world, but terraforming actually changes the overall hazard rating for other planets looking at it as well compared to their race. So a situation can happen where, like, I've got this one over here, prohibitive, it's too far outside my comfort zone, therefore it can't do it. Another race that's in the halfway line between me and this world could colonize it, terraform it, and then that would bring it into the range of my climate preferences. But you know, that's letting someone be this close to my capital kind of situation. It's not ideal. Also, there are techs which can increase the climate hazard tolerance to let you actually sort that out by the means of, like, you know, all things shiny, solving problems. But I think 758 is outside the reach of most of those as well. So that's a world that probably will be of no use to me for the whole game. It's not the worst of losses. It is a size 6 after all, but...
Course plotted, engaging node drive.
Yeah. Another too distant one. Better drive techs will help with that as we go. My next step, though, is I want to get those colonies I mentioned sorted out, and that means more building. Now, the thing is, I don't know how to build colony ships too well in this game. I like to spam an army of colony ships at a problem, just because it means I've got a world that's ready to go really quickly. But that also means I have to pay a lot less on colony upkeep, but I pay a lot more on upfront cost of building a bunch of ships. In this case, I'd be building like 30 or so of these destroyer-sized colonizers just to, you know, do it. I built 5.
Aye, Commander.
Just do it
We'll
that way,
have
just
those
so
ships
you
out in
see what's
no
going
time.
on. Just so you see what's going on. And yes, this is very more of a rambly kind of thing. Oh, lovely. I'm near the hivers to start out. Worse. Oh no, that's actually not so bad. Right, okay, so what we have here is a strategic fight. However, I do not have to take it. Auto-resolving is fully acceptable, though it can take things that, if you were controlling directly, would be a win into a more of a loss. But I'm not the best at the tactical fights either, I must admit. I tend to win through overwhelming force more than anything else. But resolve options. There's a I will choose to fight flat out. There's a full AI thing. There's a hybrid, which is it will auto-resolve unless the other party chooses to fight. And then there's give peace a chance. My ship will not engage, and if the enemy attacks, it will not really defend itself much and will probably get killed. Which is going to happen anyway because we've actually stumbled on an independent colony. So this is an unaligned colony of hivers. It's got defensive platforms and planetary missiles. And the thing is, there's actually a slight bug in the coding with peaceful on an AI controlled planet. As in, for some reason, even if you choose peaceful, the planet always attacks whoever you've got parked in orbit. So yeah, just peaceful.
System update.
Oh, I lied. Okay. The AI actually choose not to attack me this time. I am...
Engines to power.
Maybe that's just like an empire thing. Maybe independent colonies sometimes do, sometimes don't. I'm not hostile towards them, and so they've left me be. I know everything. I know what I'm talking about. What are you going on about? I'm going to pull these extended ranges out into a different fleet, so they aren't mixed in with the colonizers. I know what I'm doing. Yeah. But that has actually brought me to another part of this game, which is I've run across hivers, right? However, I don't know how to talk to hivers. Yeah. Every race has its own language, and you need to actually do some effort in translating to actually get certain treaties with them, or even understand what random text messages they are spamming at you from across the void. So in this case, because I've encountered hivers, I can actually start researching hiver tech, basic translation, and then proceed up through the line up here, as you can see. And at the top, we get the option to try and subjugate, which is like, fully absorb colonies. I've got the ability to try and addict them, which might, like produce trade goods and things that are flat out addictive to this species, and therefore increase my trade revenue, but also make them more unstable because they are craving what I'm offering. At the same time, I've got a defensive tech in that line, which is temperance, which means I can find ways to resist other races trying to addict my people to their goods. So, there are nuances in here for trade and other shady dealings.
System update.
Turn progressed.
Research successfully completed, sir.
That's the
Aye,
tech.
sir.
I am sending that fleet out. I will build another fleet of 5 because I actually want
getting up.
both of those. I suspect that is, that world is outside the range of a basic ship because colonizers have the same range as all other ship types. Extended range is the exception in terms of getting an extra boost. So yeah, this node line itself is no real use. So any ship trying to go to there until I get upgraded to that is going there. And that is one of the drawbacks of human technology. Also you, how much fuel do you even have left? You have some
Fleet
fuel
moving
left,
out.
that's okay. Let's just get a couple more guys out to these other
Navigation, set course.
nodes. And yeah, this is basically what the early game looks like, really. Spamming explorers, spamming things like that. I'm going to spend a couple of turns to build up some Imperial savings. Just because you actually do get interest on your savings, so having a really decent buffer of cash can be very helpful. But yeah, I'll see you in a few turns, unless something interesting happens. And or something explodes, which it might, actually. Yeah, the moment I say that, another independent colony. What will you do?
System update.
You're peaceful as well. Huh.
Drives to full.
Okay, we have something else out here. Probably don't know what it is. The only thing that's sure is it's not a actual independent colony. It's an unknown third party. So might as well take this option to show you. Oh, it's the swarm. My ship is going to die. There you go. My ship has arrived through node space. Worth noting, by the way, the differences in actual tech and stuff actually translates to how they arrive and depart from maps as well. In my case, nodes lanes over there, but as you can see, the problem is we've got silicoid swarms of space life which are actually kind of dangerous.
System update.
Worth noting, by the way, those fights actually have a very sharp time limit that can be set on them. Like a normal fight is like 3 minutes or so. So it's never going to take over what's going on unless you have a lot of fights going on. Excuse me. So it's an option you can engage with or not at your discretion. This is kind of a bad thing though. So even if I'd gone onto auto, it would have told me now that there's a swarm infestation in this particular system. That is a problem because the swarms aren't actually locked into one system. Every so often they will produce queens which go to nearby uninfested systems and infest them. The queen can, if it arrives at a place where you've got a fleet, the queen can be intercepted to try and destroy it. But if it's still alive at the end of the turn on a planet, it automatically creates a hive in that planet's orbit, and then things go from there. So, yeah. We have a galactic pest on our doorstep, pretty much. Also, we're noting we've got colonizers here. I will send in a small colonizer fleet to
Colony status
pick
green.
that one up. We do have a returning
Engines to power, aye.
extended range ship over here, and that's because this guy has enough fuel just to reach that colony. So when I colonize this, that ship can refuel. This ship over here, though, is out of fuel completely. Can't go to either of them. Can't go to any of its nearby things. So that ship is now stuck. This is where being a tanker would have been more useful than being an extended range ship, because if it was a tanker, it could have kept going. It just couldn't have done this one, which the extended range one can't do either. Yeah. Oh well. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Can you get up there?
Drives
You
to
can.
full.
Yeah, just continue to map the local area. You're out of fuel as well. Ooh, you can't even get too much further
Navcom
back.
programmed.
You can park at this place. Honestly, I'm going to spend my funds building up a bunch more colony ships. It's going to keep my industries busy for the foreseeable future.
Construction project initiated.
But there's always reason to send a smaller colony effort out first for the very first attempt to colonize a planet. And that's something that was introduced when the Morrigans joined the game. See, the Morrigans are spacefaring, but they try to be peaceful
System
with people
update.
from the dust, which is like any one planet origin. But they return to space to find that, well, basically the planet-based ones had kind of stabbed them in the
Course
back.
plotted.
Some
Engaging node drive.
warlike groups had gone in and, you know, done nasty things to their kin. And so they hate anyone who is of planet origin, because the Morrigan are space origin. Just keep on going. Why am I mentioning all this? I mention all this because something that can happen is there is a planetary trap. Some empty worlds are booby-trapped, so as soon as a colonizer tries to set down on it, it actually spawns a attack wave, which will try to kill the colonizing fleets and any other ships in orbit. This can be stopped if you've got enough forces. If it's a pure colony fleet, though, the odds are they'll get wiped out. But yeah, that's why it's not the best idea to send a massive colony fleet like I tend to do, and then dump it all straight onto a planet immediately, because they can get very easily taken out. Anyway, we've got a world here. This world is... No, it's not abandoned. I was trying to get to. I think that's the rename button there. Oh no, add a note. Right, sorry. So, New World. Industrial output is minimal. It's just been founded. Its production is going into infrastructure creation and terraforming. Infrastructure is how well it can harvest the local resources. Terraforming is dealing with the climate hazard, as I mentioned before, which in turn increases how quickly the population grows and reduces money spent to support the housing. Think like habitable domes and infrastructure supporting that kind of thing. You know, things that go into making a world less than ideal bearable-ish, or rather survivable. I think is probably the better word. So I've got several options here. I can rush infrastructure, or I can rush terraforming. Honestly, infrastructure is a really solid way to go, but there is another way to get infrastructure, and that is why I'd like to build massive colony fleets. Every colonizer sent in contributes its hull, its engines, its resources, to become a little bit of infrastructure. In this case, 5.08. The 5 came from sending 5 colony ships of the destroyer size. And yes, there is a bigger colony ship. I just don't have the tech for it because it's a bit further in. It's towards the mid-game rather than the early game like I am at the moment. But I like to go for infrastructure and I accept full income costs as I build up the industrial output, and then suddenly, in a matter of turns, climate hazard tends to be solved. And that's how I tend to prioritize it. Is it good to do that way? I do not know. It works, and that's what I kind of accept. Let's see now. This ship, though, it's off travel routes. I'm probably not going to get it. So, there's one other fate I can give to this ship, because right now the ship is sitting there, costing me upkeep. And as we can see, the blue fleet maintenance is a noticeable chunk. Planetary development, that's the cost of maintaining that colony I just put down. But any ship that's not useful, might as well scuttle it and get rid of it.
Aye, sir. Abandoning ship.
Don't worry about the crew. I'm sure they'd make their way home just fine, I assume, because individual crew isn't something that's measured in this game, really. So, yeah. But this does have an interesting side effect, which is, if a ship is scuttled, it actually adds its value to the resources of the system you scuttle it in. So you can actually use this to pump resources into a system. Building ships in a place which isn't over-harvesting and therefore is not consuming its natural resources to build the ships, and then scuttling them back in, will actually give you some measure of resources and therefore increase output. That said, though, it's not exactly a massive effect. I think a destroyer only gives like 1 resource point. That's end the turn. 2, 4, 12.
System update.
2, 4, 13. Yeah, a destroyer adds 1 point. Not exactly going to break the bank there, is it? And make things suddenly massively imbalanced. You need a huge amount of industry to throw at that kind of problem. Anyway, colony number 2 is about to go up. 30,000.
Another world for the Commonwealth.
30,000 to maintain. And we're just going to keep on going from there.
Drives to full.
And yes, I'm waiting to get some savings built back up again.
System update.
Ooh, yeah, look at that. I've got about a third of my income going on maintaining my colonies. I don't really want to go much beyond that one. I'll sacrifice you as well, because you're actually orbiting a world I will eventually colonize.
Abandoning ship.
Size 5. Somewhat hazardous. That's okay, you're also out of fuel, so I will scuttle you too.
Aye, sir. Abandoning ship.
Again, tankers would have been more useful as scouts. I think 1 extended range can maybe get over there. Range 28. It can get there because it's refueling at this particular planet in between.
Course plotted. Engaging node drive.
And that one's reached the end of its road as well. I'll leave that one in place though, actually, because that will help to alert me of any swarm activities. In fact, same for this one.
Aye, sir. Standing down.
Yep. Pause that one, just to watch for swarm incursions. Might as well actually use these other remaining extended ranges to do that too.
Navigation, set course.
Okay, so the fleet around Foundation has grown. We have 32 colony ships sitting in orbit, which added to the 8 infrastructure already there will give us just over 40, something like maybe 41 infrastructure when they get down there.
A great day dawns.
And
Another
you'll see
world for
what
the
a change
Commonwealth.
that'll make. So, 2.3, 0.84.
System update.
That's 1.0 and 2.82. That is not too bad. It's not quite taking off yet because of lack of population, but it has made a massive jump in how much infrastructure it's got available. And infrastructure also affects growth rate, so that will amplify how quickly the population builds up and therefore how quickly industrial output becomes a thing. Let's see, we've found ourselves a size 6 world further up the spire there. That's okay. But that's also as far as that particular ship can go. And then there's one last one going down here. And then that's as far as I can actually scout with the basic extended range ships. So yeah, not the greatest distance, is it? Nope, and it's bumped its nose on something painful.
System update.
What's it found? It's found another swarm, actually. That's less than ideal. That's okay, though. Let's just go ahead and... You're at 42.
Navigation,
Let's pump you
set
into that
course.
one as well, actually, just because. I don't want to pick up another colony right now, just because of my current state. As you can see, most of my spending is actually earmarked for projects, so I'm still very much in the growth phase.
System update.
Over time and over budget. But at least we finally have this tech director.
Speaking of, genetic modification. Population growth rate is increased by 10%. Haha. Gives me access to 3 more techs. Plague, atmospheric adaptation, and suspended. Suspended animation is one that sometimes you don't get because it's not guaranteed, but
Research computers online.
it's always worth picking up
Labs
if you can get your
fully
hands on it.
staffed.
There you go, let's drop that slightly so I've got a bit more income. Suspended animation is our first modifier we're going to pick up. And that is something that can be applied to either all
System
sections of a
update.
ship or some sections of a ship. In this case, it applies
A
only to
great day
colonizer
dawns.
modules.
Another world for the Commonwealth.
1.8. So, suspended animation means that more colonists are carried by the colony
System
ship.
update.
2.32. Yep, that is ramping up quite rapidly now. But it also means like there's more initial seed population to get things ticking over, and it's a more explosive growth colonizers arriving at a place. However, it also increases slightly the cost of a colonizer ship.
System
Yep.
update.
Everything costs, honestly. But at least in this game you don't have to worry about specific resources like crystals or stuff like that.
System update.
It's just like
Over time and over budget. But at least we finally have this tech director.
it's raw credits and raw production. So, not too bad, honestly. But infrastructure is, yeah, going up quite quickly now. Suspend animation has been unlocked. Let's pick up cybernetic interface next, because
This project could be the big breakthrough you have been looking for.
give me 10 turns, please. We are behind the curve a little bit because of my massive over expenditure, some would say, on colony ships starting out, but it's just how I do colonies, I'm afraid. Yeah, it costs me way more up front, but
System update.
I've got a colony world that's near 75% developed almost and rapidly accelerating now.
System
4.3, 5.4, it's increasing by 1 per turn. Another 4 turns and it'll max out its infrastructure and then dedicate itself to climate correction. Which is, right now, if I was to do that, 14 points per turn. So, yeah, 8 turns or so would be enough to clear that climate hazard now. It's only going to get better from there. While this world is started out as 5, has only reached 22. So, yeah, that big boost was quite helpful. That said, though, this one's followed a more natural curve. The imperial and civilian population is picking up. So, increase of 3 is not bad. And honestly, not very far behind this one, actually. Huh. I think I overinvested on the colonizers. But honestly, overinvesting on the colonizers is more effective on cruiser colonizers
System
than destroyer
update.
colonizers anyway, I think. But that's probably a needless expense on my part. Who cares? I certainly don't.
System update.
That is almost done. While this one has had 2 turns less in development time, but it's also quite a bit behind. Maybe 10, 20
System
colonizers would be good.
update.
Yeah, 10, 20 colonizers would be good. Speaking of, design, colonizers, suspended animation, which adds an extra 8,000 credits.
Yes, sir. Ship design ready for construction.
Remove the previous design, and there we go. And look at that, 3 turns to fix the hazard. Well, this one's ripping along at 620, geez. Yeah, I did overinvest on colonizers. Well, the more you know. The more you know. Okay, so now we have ourselves a fleet of 10 colonizer Mark IIs. By themselves, they cannot reach this section here, which I kind of want as a warning against this particular silicate swarm. But I have built a single tanker ship, which in itself has a 9 range for the node, but 99 fuel. If I mix that into the fleet, suddenly it has the range to reach it.
Aye, sir.
And that's why tankers are very important. They let you do things that otherwise would be kind of tricky to do. I must admit, though, humans are probably my second most played race in this game. And the most played is most definitely going to be Hivers. Because Hivers have the fastest and the slowest travel method
System
in the whole game.
update.
They are kind of shared with me for slowest sublight speeds between systems without node drive. But they also have the fastest because they travel by establishing teleport gates in orbit around planets. Which is actually limited by how many teleports gates you have. And they also must defend the gates as well, because if you lose a gate, then it becomes a lot harder to reconnect that world. But yeah, fastest and slowest are the Hivers. Look at that though. Right now Foundation is producing 46,000 in pure income. And it's not even fully populated, it's still barely populated overall. Serpens, by contrast, is only just passing the point of having 70. It's going to hit 83 or something like that next turn. But that has definitely followed much more of a curve than a spike, which is why I'm wondering if like 10 colonizers is a good amount to send. Let's send 20 actually. Yeah, let's send
Construction
20.
project initiated.
System update.
Now that said though, my worlds are currently undefended. There's always a risk of doing that this long into the game, because random events are also a thing.
System update.
Serpens has just maxed out its
Over
infrastructure.
time and over budget. But at least we finally have this tech director.
They finally gave me cheaper buildings for my ships. Thank you very much. Advanced robotics or expert systems. Ship construction cost or increase overall industrial output by 15%. Both are tempting. Right now, I think I'll pick up orbital foundries, though, which will further reduce ship costs.
Full funding received, sir. Thank you.
Give me that in 5 turns, please. Thank you. Right. And that's because I want to see if I've got access to basic reflective tech, which, if I don't, is actually a massive issue. In other news, our other colony fleet is now actually
Course
ready
plotted.
to roll.
Engaging
And
node
head
drive.
this way. You're filled up and fueled. However, the only reasonable destination for my tanker is still where that hive is. These things are too far away for me to really good at, so
Drives to full.
the tanker could just come back to base, honestly. I need to get some kind of FTL upgrade just for ships going along this line here because there's this Altair colony in the way. So keep that in mind.
System update.
That said, though, Serpens has now finished upgrading, outputting just shy of 60,000 income. So, because of its higher resource yield of the system, it's actually slightly overtaken Foundation in this point. And remember, Foundation has had way more in terms of colony ships invested into it. Yeah, I was massively overdoing it with those.
Research successfully completed, sir.
Oh, good. We have got it. Okay. I also mixed up which one was which, by the way. So, these are the basic tier techs. There are better ones as we go. But in particular, polysilicate makes craft far more able to resist blunt kinetics, which means a lot of the basic slug thrower weaponry, despite the higher power compared to basic laser weaponry, starts to become less effective at that point. Also, it just flat out increases hull strength in general, so it's a good, useful thing to have. While this one, reflective coating, in particular the Silicate Swarm, they were using plasma stuff, which is energy-based weaponry. But that is also, I think, one that's more likely to happen, though some races have a chance not to get one or both of these. So, you know, if you find yourself without, it can be kind of rough. Kind of want to get it. Kind of wanna, but there are other things that also might vie for my attention, like there's laser techs. I don't have... I said I'm only running basic lasers right now. I can pick up green lasers, or I can pick up ultraviolets. Green lasers are far more readily available. Yeah, notice high accuracy, high rate of fire, below average range, and pretty low damage stats overall. Let's just go for
Research computers
green
online.
tech.
Labs fully staffed.
3 turns, please. Well, the comparison is basic ballistics, lower range, much less accuracy, but have a sizable chunk in damage and also have decent rate of fire. Don't get me wrong though, ballistics are actually pretty good, but in general they can be outdone by a couple of layers of anti-ballistic armoring. They will still do damage, they just become a lot less effective.
System update.
Oh good, you're there. Colonize.
A great day dawns. Another world for the Commonwealth.
This world has 20 going into it. Also worth bearing in mind, of course, got the suspended animation as well, so this world is getting a higher population than either of these two did on their colony ships. And I think that's why we're already seeing nearly 2 points in terms of overall growth.
Navcom programmed.
So that got fleet 20. How far do we need to go? We need fuel to reach any of the immediate destinations. That's why there's a tanker inbound. Okay, so I just got access to green laser tech, which is all I'm prepared to wait for. And remember I deleted the defensive platform? That's because any custom platform actually spawns with the designation LD, MD, and so on and so forth, instead of light defense platform. So the first one is kind of jarring, and it's upgrade lists from it. So I delete that, so the next one is LD. I have not picked up the armoring techs just yet, but this is honestly kind of late getting some kind of defense in place. So each of these comes with a missile launcher and some banks of laser turrets, so 2 missile launchers and 8 turrets, like close-in guns in clusters. And you can build up to 10 of these orbiting a world.
Design entered into naval archives.
It acts as a basic passive defense. They are cheaper to maintain for their firepower level than a ship is, but they also can't be moved around like a ship is, so yeah. And then they also have to be built in situ
Shipyards
as
gearing
well.
up.
So everywhere has to build these guys up for themselves. And yeah, it cost me about 167,000 credits
Aye, Commander.
in terms of
we will
materials
have those
each
ships
time.
out in no time.
But we do want to get the extra layer of defense in place. Even here, I'm just queuing it up, ready, though this world
Construction project
is not going to build
initiated.
them for quite some time.
System update.
And I might do something about that colony sooner rather than later, just so that I don't have that constant da-da deciding battle outcome every time a ship goes past it. Because that could get annoying pretty quickly, I think. Oh, I need more than one tanker to get the rest of this fleet this way. Okay. I have underestimated how many tankers needed. One tanker, it turns out, was not much more than enough to get 5 colonizers out to this world over here. 2 is not enough to get 15 out, so I need the 3rd one built. I just didn't build enough tankers. Also, by the way, I'm picking up this colony over here not for strategic reasons. It's just the other worlds strategically to let me progress further out into space are mostly kind of bad. This is 200, but most of them are in the region of like 400, 500, you know. Taking up a lot of budgets to actually try and colonize right now. So I'm kind of hesitating on that bit. This world with 20 colonizers, though, is doing very nicely.
System update.
Just let it all keep on going.
Research successfully completed, sir.
Ah, there we go. The other tech I mentioned. Pulse fission drive. A modified version of the drive system, increased tactical speed and strategic range. Important there. Overthrusting, which is a destroyer pursuit section. Greatly increases, I think, tactical speed, and that's about it. But also potentially will lead to recombinant fissionables as an upgrade to my basic drive tech. Though that said, it's also a bit more expensive, 9 turns to pick it up. Where is my star drive upgrade? 8 turns to get node focusing, which would be a massive increase. Maybe. Maybe. Or I could get shaped nuclear warheads. Those sound fun. Oh, by the way, missile weaponry is slightly unusual in terms of weapon techs.
Research computers online. Labs fully staffed.
They can be intercepted
Yes, sir.
because they're actually
Fleet of
guided
Heavy
tracking
Alpha.
projectiles, so they can be intercepted by dedicated point defense guns and stuff like that. So it's possible to make a ship take less incoming missiles or immune to them. But they are also a weapon that, unlike the progression that you saw of red to green to purple lasers, they don't need a ship to be upgraded to swap out. Researching upgraded missile techs also applies to any missile weapon system already out there. So all the defensive platforms I built, nuclear shaped charges, will automatically apply to all of their missile launchers, just because they have missiles. It's one of the benefits of the system. Though the curse, as I said, is like slow travel speeds, the fact they can be intercepted, generally stuff like that. Also, they tend to have less raw damage output compared to other direct fire weaponry. They have their uses, though, very much so.
System update.
Medea has done quite well with an investment of 20 ships. It has just dealt with its
System
infrastructure,
update.
and now it is going to deal with its terraforming in short order. Geldy Prime is our latest venture.
Drives to full.
It has just received its full 20, and is starting out. So, yeah, about 25 or so, I think, is a reasonable amount. Though having full infrastructure, I think, is maybe also kind of hampering me a bit than a more balanced approach. It's just how I tend to do it for infrastructure. Because lessening the climate hazard would increase the population growth. So it depends what the priority is. In my case, I was getting like more time maximum cost for maintenance, and then suddenly dealing with it very quickly. Whereas if I had a more balanced approach, I would be lessening that cost over time through more gradual terraforming processing. So I'm not sure which is which is better, which is worse.
System update.
This is kind of an older game at this point, though.
Over time and over budget. But at least we finally have this tech, Director.
Oh, thank you. That's because I also want to hope to do something about the swarm issue we've got going on. So, I've just researched reflective coding, specifically for dealing with that. Can I get... Oh, there's another node line there as well connecting. So there are extra chances to get polysilicate from either of the origin techs. Polysilicates I can pick up in 3 turns if I go flat
Full
out.
funding received, sir. Thank you.
I'll accept that. Give me that. Give me that. Okay, update. Medea is 61,400 positive, which puts it in the same kind of ballpark as the other 2 planets that I've got going on. Well, I've got minus 40,000 going to Geldy Prime. That's also okay. And there's been no sign of swarms moving for anywhere that I've got sensors looking out for them. So I'm just taking the opportunity to actually spend a few more turns and get purple laser tech, and then I'm going to send out some extermination fleets. And that's how I'm going to end
System update.
this video, I think. Just like sending out extermination fleets. The thing is, the tankers I just used for my colony runs aren't going to be used, so I'm sending them back to home base to scrap and, you know, get a bit of extra industrial output on my capital. It's only like 25 points, I think, per tanker I scrap here. But
System update.
that's going to add up. It means I've added like 150 points in
sir.
terms of tankers scrapped
Abandoning
on
ship.
this world. 250 points right now on industrial output. It does add up over time. And yeah, this is one of my other plot flaws in this game. It's like I hang back
System
getting better
update.
tech, because better tech is useful.
Yes, sir. Ship design ready for construction.
Looking at a little bit more on the construction side of it, I have built up better designs with new tech. So the LD Mark II is 21,000 compared to 16,000. So yeah, 4,500, 5,500, yeah, somewhere around 5,000 credits more. For X-ray lasers, sorry, UV lasers, and reflective coating and alloys to increase armor and engine resistance. All good. The new armor ship is 29,000 versus 13.5. But that's because everything is coated in alloys. I've upgraded the engines, upgraded the guns. You didn't see me unlock the hammerhead because the hammerhead actually unlocks as a side effect of the, I think it's the Waldo tech I picked up right at the start. But it replaces the normal command center with one with better turning and with 2 turrets instead of 1. So extra good mount. Huzzah! Tanker and Colonizer, though, they followed a different philosophy, as I remove both from my list. They both spent 3,500 credits each on upgrading the drives to pulsed fission. However, no extra plating, no extra gun upgrades. Both of these are as cheap as physically possible because they're not meant to be fighting. If I lose tankers, don't care. Colonizer should be as cheap as possible just for spamming out as many as I can, as cheaply as I can to go into a colony and do things. So that's all they do. The drive expense is necessary for their function, and that's about it. So, let us begin our building project, shall we? I'll start with a force of... let's say 15 of these guys and 5 tankers each. And that's because of the increased expense. Half of my available saving. 1.3 million
Instruction
credits
order placed, Commander.
going to that. Mainly for peace of mind, because I won't
System update.
earn that much back from dealing with these pests. It'll just short stop any future problems.
System update.
Sir, I have an unknown target.
And there we go. So, incoming. That is a Swarm Queen. It is going towards one of my worlds. It's not passed within sensor range of my other fleets, but it's also come from a system which was previously marked as clear, which means that this one over here has been expanding. And that's why it's such a problem. That said, though, I do have one war fleet ready to go and clean out the infestation from over
Course
here.
plotted. Engaging node drive.
This will be a basic scrum. Actually, let's pull out the...
Aye, sir. Standing down.
Pull out the tankers. Can you reach just armor? You can due to your increased range of 12.
Navigation. Set course.
Yeah. Pulse fission drive, by the way, increased range by a third. I think it was. Yeah, 9 into 12, yeah. 33%. Okay, we've got some other things happening. We got a von Neumann probe at Kepler. This is something that can be a pain if it hits one of your colony worlds. This is a world I'm going to colonize eventually, so I wouldn't really want it to happen, but I will. A von Neumann probe, by the way, is a self-replicating exploratory force which knows no other purpose but beyond going out exploring and replicating. If it still reports back to its masters or not is immaterial, but usually the implication is that it's become a rogue force in its own right rather than something directly consciously controlled. So it's automated self-replicating explorers by harvesting local materials. If this thing gets through, it depletes 500 resources from a system, which is pretty sizable. And it has a habit of harvesting any defending ships, which in this case is going to be one of those initial extended range craft.
Unknown vessel. Assume hostile.
Yes, sir. Fleet, engage at close range.
This ship is not savable. It's going to go no matter what, because when it's being harvested, it gets locked in place. As you can see. So yeah, that's why this one could be a bit of a pain to deal with.
System update.
Yeah, ignore that because the Von Neumann hasn't resolved, I don't think, so I don't know what's happening over there. That's it though. Let's pull out the rest of these tankers to another separate fleet. These armors are moving straight over
Aye,
here.
sir.
Because if we check, Alien fleet is incoming, no research is set, that's all okay. That's all fine. Let's pick up FTL,
This project could be
Yeah,
the
some
big
basic
breakthrough you have
text.
been looking for.
I think. Because we're missing a lot of core text because of time spent not researching. And another... Oh wait, no. This is our first... Yeah, this is going to these unknown at Hercules, which we know is a swarm origin. So let's go ahead and drop into here. This is going to be a hive assault. Ships deploying up to my command limits, which is 8 ships at once.
All ships, correct course.
Sorry, 9 ships right now, because of... I don't know why I've got 9 ships, not 8. But remember, purple lasers, these have reflective coating to help with the energy attacks. They are doing a lot better than the initial ship did. And really, right now, they're just cruising through the swarm. And I think the swarm defenders are all but gone. Yes.
Target locked.
Very good. Target. That, which is our main target. Close range engagements. And they will now close to shortest range to attack. This one is a bit damaged. You can tell from the sparks, that means there's critical damage going on. But nothing was actually wrecked, so everything survived.
Target data received.
But yeah, that's the main problem with these guys though. It's overall...
Fleet will maintain max range.
No, just go ahead and return to position please.
You heard the man. Get this ship moving.
But yeah, well, the initial swarm, you need enough firepower to deal with it, and then that's it. But reward is a couple of 100,000 like credits or something like that.
The enemy has been defeated.
System update.
So we get some windfall from it, but not massive amounts. Let's see. 125,000. Note, by the way, the individual creatures don't count as ships. One enemy ship was destroyed. But that's to be dealt with. Some damage, but not massively so. Let's send out a tanker fleet to bring them back.
Navigation, set course.
Well, this one is going to be our last thing for this video. Again, let me know if you want to see a bit more of this. But this one's a bit more substantial. Defensive fleet backed up by a ring of defensive satellites, backed up by the planet's silo-launched missiles. And the incoming is a queen, not a asteroid. So we have to deal with the Queen in this one.
Commander, it's pretty big.
We have to deal with the Queen. Otherwise, a nest will be
All ships,
appear in the
correct
system.
course.
And as we can see from sensors, there's the Queen, here's the swarm. There are our satellites orbiting the planet. They just spin around in place, slowly coming into range and out of range. But again, the problem is dealing with the initial swarm.
Incoming!
We've lost a destroyer, sir.
Oh, we lost one. Yep, this swarm is a bit more dangerous. And there's a reinforcement wave over here.
Aye, sir. Coming to new bearing. Aye, sir. Coming to new bearing.
Incoming!
And some of the swarm are going after the satellites, which is also fine. We need to deal with that Queen though.
Full power to engines. Fleet, resuming standard attack time.
Yeah, don't go after them. They are the decoys. We've got 2.5 minutes. Go after the Queen, please. Yeah, my ship's got pulled out of position by all that. And they do have inertia to deal with as well, that's why they're taking their time to turn around. They are in movement now though.
Incoming!
That said though, as you can see, the planet's missiles are not fooled. They actually have range of the entire battle space. Not sure where they are though. Oh, there they are.
Fire! Fire! Fire!
The problem is, because my ships got diverted with it before I realised, we only have 1.5 minutes to actually do the job.
Ah, sir.
If that's going to be enough, I do not know. But this thing is not helpless. It will fight back. Or it should fight back. Or not. A queen from a destroyed nest is pretty dangerous, but this guy seems to not really be able to fight. I'm guessing because it's just on an interstellar transit or something. I didn't know there was a distinction for that. But this guy is... Oh, now it's fighting back. It just can't... It's stuck on the asteroid, it just can't move.
Reinforcements arriving.
Aye, sir. Bringing guns to bear.
Come on guys, 30 seconds, you can deal with it. Yeah, this guy's just got a bit too close to the rock. Sucks for the beastie, but that's fine for me. I still think this guy's distinct from the ones that spawn it sometimes when you kill a nest though. Yeah, it's got a different model and stuff. Come on, finish the job. Oh, it lived.
System update.
Well, that sucks. Repair everything. That's okay. There's a limit to how much can be done based on local available repair resources. But those ships will be ready to go next turn. We lost a bunch of destroyers. I think I will...
System update.
Over time and over budget. But at least we finally have this tech director.
Interesting. It's not actually had the engagement happen. I guess it doesn't auto-engage now, unless... Yeah, sorry, normally I don't let a swarm infest my worlds. I'm guessing if another fleet arrives, that will trigger another fight, but the fact it's already here when the swarm was established is why nothing's really happening. Well, I have to deal with that some other time, though. So, going to call it there. This has been IMAR3. Thank you all very much for watching. Hope you guys have enjoyed the show. Feel free to like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Helps me, helps channel, give me those first shoutouts I also crave. And I'll catch you all some other time, if this video makes it to YouTube. Hopefully it will. But yeah. Again, general thing. Timeline for repairs to my main machine. Well, replacement to my main machine. That's part of the problem. We're probably not looking at anything before towards New Year's at best. There's just not enough spare time left for me in the run-up to Christmas to do it. So yes, we're going to have to go with anything new recorded of older games, mostly, or with me releasing already recorded stuff before the tower went down. But yeah, I said it there. Let me know if you want to see any more of this one as well. And I'll catch you all some other time.